My name's Helen Blondell. I'm a professional singer and belly dancer, and I came here to chop it up.
Been ride or die since our union has begun. I was for you, but you were for everyone. You chased the home runs while I chased the long run.
Let's do it. Hey Helen, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Helen, I'm glad you came here to chop it up. First things first, let's just get into it. Belly dancing. How is that?
Belly dancing is a lot of fun. I started when I was really young, and it's allowed me to grow in my creativity and also find an outlet where I can work out and actually have fun while doing it.
For sure, for sure. So let's start it back all the way from when you were a child. Talk to me. What is your nationality, and what was your upbringing being little Helen?
Yeah, so I am a first-generation American. Mm-hmm. My mom is Brazilian and my father is Panamanian.
Ooh,
and
okay. How did that come about? That's a weird mix.
Yeah, it's crazy actually. Both of my parents had a love for America. They were both in the same city at the same time, and they met and they just loved each other. And so a few years later, I was born.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So walk me through, what is it like being in a household with basically two different cultures?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because my dad grew up in a more conservative Panamanian Latin household, and my mom, while she is also Latina, Brazilian customs are a little bit different. So it was really interesting growing up with both of those backgrounds, as well as being a first-generation American and having this culture.
Right. So what language did you typically speak first growing up?
English, because my parents both spoke English as well as two different languages. My dad spoke Spanish, my mom spoke Portuguese, so they just communicated in English.
Wow, that's perfect, that's perfect. So, okay, walk me through, was a little Helen an athlete growing up?
No, it's actually crazy because I really didn't have any grace before I started belly dancing.
Right.
So.
No.
None.
So, the people probably want to know, where are you from?
So I was born in New York, but I grew up in Florida my whole life. Originally from Orlando, lived in Miami for a while, and now I'm back in Orlando.
For sure. So let's talk about it. You're basically talking about two different counties, two different areas. What would you say is the typical difference from Central Florida and Miami, Florida?
So Central Florida is a little bit more, it's less of a party town. There's still a lot going on, but more of the corporate scene. Whereas in Miami, you see a lot of young business people who are starting businesses, starting their passions, influencing, dancing, singing. The entertainment scene, while it's big in Orlando, I noticed it's a lot more vibrant in Miami.
For sure. So if someone, give or take, if someone wanted to be a belly dancer, what advice would you give them? Would you tell them to go to Central Florida, or would you tell them to come down to Miami?
I would tell them to actually travel. So Orlando is great. There's great teachers in Orlando. There's also great teachers in Miami. But I noticed that even though I started dancing in Orlando, I only really started to learn when I ventured out and went to festivals and studied with dancers from all over the world. I will say that because Miami has more nightlife and more entertainment, there are more opportunities in Miami, but don't let that stop you wherever you are.
For sure. So let's talk about it. What made you pick that belly dancer? That's very different. So what made you want to be a belly dancer?
So it's actually an interesting story. Because my parents are international, they ordered a cable package with several international channels. Now on top of the Latin channels that came in the package, there was also a Arab channel. And so I was scrolling TV one day, little Helen was scrolling TV one day, and I saw the beautiful music and the fashion and the dancing, and it inspired me. And then when I went to school, I went to an art school, I also saw a belly dance group performing there.
Right.
So I just felt it in my heart that it was for me, and I've been connected ever since.
For sure. Yeah, so let's talk about the art school. I'm assuming that was high school?
Yes.
Okay, walk us through what was the high school experience for Helen? What were you like in high school, you would say?
So in high school, I was very creative. I loved music. I always worked very hard for everything that I did. And I was kind of a perfectionist. And because I cared so much about really doing the best I could in my art, I also kind of didn't have much of a social life. I had maybe 2 friends, 3 max, and I kept to myself a lot because I was always practicing.
For sure. So, what's something that you would change, that you would go back to high school now and maybe you go back and change a few things?
I think the one thing that I would change is I would have more confidence in myself as I am. When I was younger, I did feel like I had something to prove through my art, and now having developed and grown as an artist, I know that the real magic is in here. It's in my heart. It's not in how many awards you win or how many things you can do at once.
For sure, for sure. So let's talk about your senior year of high school. Walk us through I'm assuming you went to college. So walk us through that whole experience up to choosing your college and what made you choose that college.
Yeah, so in high school, I was really into my grades as well as making sure I did everything possible to make it into Juilliard, School of the Arts. That was really my goal at the time. I wanted to go to Juilliard. I wanted to go so bad. But then circumstances happened, and I wasn't able to move up north. And so I got accepted into multiple schools in Florida. Of course, my parents wanted me to go to UCF because it was right around the corner, you know? But I am already an only child, and I really wanted to branch out because all I ever knew was my hometown. All I ever knew was my family, and while I love them, I wanted to learn what it was like to be out on my own and chase my dreams, and that's how I chose FIU in Miami.
For sure, for sure. Walk us through. Let's talk about FIU. What's give and take? What are the plus and minuses of FIU?
The pluses of FIU is that they have an amazing business program, an amazing hospitality program for which I was in. There's a lot of opportunities. You meet a lot of great people. Most of the people that I've met that I still talk to are from FIU. I would say that a big negative side to FIU, and I think that's just Miami culture in general, is the partying. There's a lot of distractions. A lot of people at a young age are impressionable. You're 20, 21, 22, and you're here with an abundance of drugs around you, partying, drinking, and anything in excess can be a distraction. So I think that's the main downside, but I think if you're focused and you have your eye on the goal, none of that is going to faze you.
For sure, for sure. So I'm assuming you graduated. Let's talk about graduation. How hard was it to even get to that point?
It was a lot because your girl is not good at math, let me tell you. I had to actually repeat math 3 times. 3 times. And then I got through economics only because I really studied very, very, very hard. And that was the first time really I dealt with a challenge that I really had no idea how I was going to overcome it, because the arts is natural for me, but math and numbers was very hard. So when I finally passed my math class with an A, and then made the dean's list. I was so happy, and it was a really great feeling.
For sure, for sure. Congratulations once again on your degree.
Thank you.
So walk us through now, Helen, after, the afterlife of college, you obviously started becoming belly dancing. Walk us through, how was that whole process? What were there challenges? Let's talk about it. Let's chop it up.
Yeah. So there's a lot of challenges nowadays. So I feel like the reason why I'm even in this position that I am today, with almost 600,000 followers on TikTok, a huge following on Instagram, verified on multiple platforms, I feel like that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for the challenges I faced pre-COVID pandemic.
Right.
So I actually was one of the people, of course, being a first-generation American, that was told, as soon as you graduate, you have to get a good job, make good money, be corporate. And that's what I did. As soon as I graduated, I got a job working corporate. It wasn't a bad job. I loved it. And then as the months grew on and as the years grew on, I realized I was like, there's something missing, but I had to keep going. And it was only when I felt stifled. Because I wanted to get a raise, I wanted to get a promotion, but it was almost as if I was stuck doing the same thing no matter what. And then when the pandemic hit, I was among the many people that got laid off. And I knew right then and there I had to go out swinging.
Right, exactly.
So I started my business, I trademarked BellyPOP. And I started teaching online, eventually coming out with a clothing line, and started doing things on social media. And now I have a platform, and I was able to be on TV and come out with music and do exactly what I've always wanted to do.
Right.
So really, I think it's about knowing your calling, understanding that when circumstances get in your way, there's always a reason for that, and always work hard and never give up.
For sure, for sure. So let's talk. I'm gonna pick and choose on a little bit of the things that you said. You're verified on multiple platforms. First things first, congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel that all that hard work, from working a corporate job to getting laid off, getting verified, and basically doing what you actually love? Talk to us. What advice would you give someone that's starting a business, starting and working on social media? Talk to us, Helen. What advice would you give someone?
The number one thing is consistency.
Right.
Consistency is everything, because there are a lot of people out there who buy followers. There are even people out there who can buy PR agents to get them on the news and things like that. Now,
what's a PR agent?
A PR agent is someone who can get you on the news just if you pay them money. But the thing is,
That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
It's crazy. I've actually had so many of them in my DMs, and it's like, you're in my DMs now that I'm verified. What?
This is like cheating. I don't know. People. One thing that I've noticed, especially in this, this industry, I've noticed that a lot of people definitely are faking it. More I've noticed people who definitely buy likes, buy comments, buy everything. It's like they don't grow a real algorithm, and they notice that down the line because they never grow.
Exactly.
And a PR agent is definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, yes, there are definitely, good things for PR agents. Like if you're already big and you wish to, have a PR agent to assist you if they're legitimate, then that's a different story. But buying likes, buying followers, paying thousands of dollars just to get on the news, these are short-term things that are not going to help you in the long run.
Right.
I wasn't blessed with money.
Right.
Every costume I buy, I get that with my own money, and I work very hard.
Right.
So to throw my money away on followers or on news articles when people have covered me for free for simply loving what I do, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So my advice for someone who wants to get ahead, do it the authentic way. It's possible. I've done it. Yes, it's hard,
Right.
but it's better to come up slowly because you'll constantly be going up, as opposed to having a huge come up and then
Just
a large
start
crash.
again.
Yeah.
For sure. So now let's talk about basically the present, Helen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it. What's the new things that we should be looking out for? I know you have your new song that's coming out, Feelings, and everything else that you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about all of that, Helen.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to come. I am in the process of coming out with something really, really special. I want to keep it hush-hush for now, but it is belly dance related.
Okay.
We are working on expanding the BellyPOP Intro to Belly Dance course and coming out with an intermediate course. So if you want access to the intermediate course, please make sure that you first join the Intro to Belly Dance course. I promise you it'll be a lot easier that way. Definitely, I'm working on new music, and I can't wait for all the new things that's going to be coming out.
For sure. Helen, let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about your courses. I know you talked a little bit about it. Walk us through what new features and what should people be looking out for if they want to purchase your class.
Yes, so the intermediate class is going to have similar features to the Intro to Belly Dance course. So we're going to go over intermediate moves, variations of the moves covered in Intro to Belly Dance. We're still going to have the interactive quizzes. We're going to have tons of drills. And on top of that, we're going to learn easy choreographies and combos. These are things not offered in the Intro to Belly Dance class. So if you've already taken the Intro to Belly Dance class and you're looking for something that's even more of a challenge, this is going to be the class for you, and it's coming soon. You can find me on TikTok at Helen Singer Dancer, Instagram at Helen Singer Dancer, Twitter at Helen Blondell, Facebook at Helen Blondell, and YouTube at Helen Blondell TV.